We believe we are free. We make choices every day. We vote, we work, we live our lives. But what if it's all an illusion? What if our reality is carefully crafted, a matrix of control designed to keep us enslaved? This isn't science fiction. This is about unveiling the truth behind the curtain, exposing the hidden systems that govern our lives. We'll explore the occult matrix, a web of manipulation woven through words, symbols, and law. This isn't about conspiracy theories, it's about connecting the dots, revealing the mechanisms used to control and exploit humanity. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew. Our journey begins with understanding that the foundation of this control lies in deception. We are taught to accept a fabricated reality, a carefully constructed narrative that serves the interests of the powerful. From the moment we are born, we are indoctrinated into a system designed to limit our potential, to keep us enslaved. But the truth has a way of surfacing. By peeling back the layers of deception, we begin to see the world with new eyes. We start to notice the inconsistencies, the contradictions that point to a deeper, more sinister reality. The first step is awareness. Are you ready to see? The control mechanisms are often hidden in plain sight, disguised as mundane aspects of our lives. We interact with them daily, unaware of their true significance. Take, for example, a simple check. It seems innocuous enough, a tool for financial transactions, but look closer. Examine the fine print, the seemingly insignificant details. What you'll find is a language of control, a series of legal traps designed to bind you to a system that benefits the few at the expense of the many. The line where you sign your name, a seemingly innocent requirement, actually contains hidden microscopic text.
This is just one example of how language and symbolism are used to create a veneer of normalcy, while concealing deeper esoteric meanings and systems of control. We are constantly bombarded with these subtle cues, these hidden messages that reinforce our subservience. From the symbols we see on television to the language used in legal documents, we are being programmed. But once you become aware of these tactics, you start to see them everywhere. The illusion begins to crumble, and you begin to question the very fabric of reality. This is the first step towards breaking free from the matrix.
Language is a powerful tool. It can be used to inform, to inspire, to unite. But it can also be used to deceive, to manipulate, to control. And that's exactly what's happening in our society today. We are being controlled by language, by the very words that we use to communicate. Think about the terms we use every day: citizen, government, law. These words carry weight, authority, but what do they really mean? Who defines them? The answer, as we'll discover, is that these terms have been carefully crafted, their meanings distorted to serve the interests of the powerful.
The law of the land, the civil law that we believe governs our society, is actually subservient to a higher form of law, the law of water, also known as maritime or admiralty law. This ancient legal system, with roots in Phoenician Canaanite traditions, operates on the principle that individuals are not sovereign beings, but rather corporate entities, chattel owned by the state. This is why we are required to use our names in all capital letters in legal and financial transactions. It's a subtle but significant indication that we are not dealing with the law of the land, but rather the law of the sea, where individuals are treated as ships, as commodities to be bought and sold.
Words have power. They shape our thoughts, mold our beliefs, and influence our actions. In the wrong hands, words become weapons, used to manipulate and control. The occult matrix thrives on this manipulation, twisting the meaning of words to serve its agenda. Consider the difference between a lawyer and an attorney. We use these terms interchangeably, assuming they refer to the same profession. But there's a crucial distinction.
A lawyer practices law, upholding justice and defending the rights of individuals. An attorney, on the other hand, is an agent, a representative of the state operating within the confines of the corporate legal system. This subtle shift in terminology reflects a deeper truth. We are not governed by laws designed to protect us, but by legal codes that benefit the corporate state. The language itself reveals the deception, exposing the mechanisms of control hidden in plain sight. Another revealing example is the way we refer to our states. We say California, Texas, New York, but these are just names, geographical designations. The true legal entities are the state of California, the state of Texas, the state of New York. These corporate entities, operating under the law of water, hold dominion over the land and its inhabitants. By understanding these subtle linguistic distinctions, we begin to see through the illusion of freedom. We realize that the language itself is a tool of enslavement, carefully crafted to keep us bound to a system that benefits the few at the expense of the many.
The occult matrix thrives on the illusion of choice. We believe we have freedom because we can choose between options, Coke or Pepsi, Democrat or Republican, this brand or that. But what if these choices are nothing more than carefully crafted illusions designed to keep us distracted while the real decisions are made behind closed doors?
The two-party political system is a prime example. We're told to choose between left and right, liberal or conservative, but both sides serve the same master, the corporate state. They offer the illusion of opposition while maintaining the status quo, ensuring that the real power structure remains unchallenged.
Our consumer choices are equally illusory. We're bombarded with advertising, manipulated into believing that our purchases define us, that our possessions bring happiness. But this is just another layer of control, a way to keep us consuming, to keep the wheels of the corporate machine turning.
The illusion of choice is a powerful tool of enslavement. It gives us the feeling of agency while subtly stripping us of our power. By recognizing this deception, we take the first step towards reclaiming our sovereignty. One of the most insidious aspects of the occult matrix is the creation of the corporate person. Under maritime admiralty law, individuals are not recognized as sovereign beings, but rather as corporate entities, chattel owned by the state. This legal fiction allows the system to treat us as commodities, to buy and sell our labor, to tax our income, and to control our very existence.
It's why we have birth certificates, social security numbers, and driver's licenses. These documents identify us as corporate entities operating within the system. The capitalization of our names in legal and financial transactions is a subtle but significant indication of our corporate status. When you sign a contract in all capital letters, you are not signing as yourself, but as the corporate entity associated with your name.
This legal sleight of hand has profound implications. It strips us of our inherent rights and freedoms, reducing us to mere cogs in the machine. By understanding this deception, we can begin to assert our sovereignty, to reclaim our status as living, breathing human beings rather than corporate entities. To truly grasp the depth of the occult matrix, we must journey back in time, exploring the ancient roots of our modern systems of control. The echoes of these ancient powers reverberate through the ages, their influence still felt in our legal systems, financial institutions, and even our language.
Long before the rise of Rome or the founding of America, civilizations like the Druids and Phoenicians established sophisticated systems of governance, commerce, and spirituality. These systems, steeped in occult knowledge and practices, laid the foundation for the structures that govern our world today.
The Druids, the enigmatic priests of the Celtic people, held vast knowledge of nature's secrets, wielding power over the physical and spiritual realms. Their legal system, based on natural law and cosmic principles, emphasized balance and harmony, a stark contrast to the adversarial legal framework we know today.
The Phoenicians, master seafarers and merchants, established a vast trading empire that spanned the Mediterranean. Their innovative approach to commerce, including the development of banking and maritime law, laid the groundwork for our modern global financial system. But these innovations came at a price, as the Phoenicians' thirst for power led them to embrace occult practices and dark deities, seeking dominion over the forces of nature and the destinies of men. The Druids, shrouded in mystery and legend, were far more than mere priests or nature worshippers. They were the keepers of ancient wisdom, the guardians of sacred knowledge passed down through generations. Their understanding of the natural world, astronomy, and the cycles of life was profound, allowing them to harness the forces of nature and commune with the spirit world.
Central to the Druids' power was their legal system, a sophisticated framework based on natural law and cosmic principles. Unlike our modern legal codes, which often seem designed to benefit the few at the expense of the many, Druidic law emphasized balance, harmony, and the interconnectedness of all things. Justice was seen as a restorative force, a means of restoring equilibrium to the community and maintaining harmony with the natural order.
The Druids understood that true power resided not in brute force or coercion, but in the subtle energies that flow through all living things. They mastered the art of manipulating these energies, using their knowledge of herbs, stones, and celestial alignments to heal, to protect, and to influence the course of events. Their wisdom, passed down through oral traditions and secret rituals, held the keys to unlocking the hidden potential within nature and within ourselves.
But the rise of the Roman Empire marked a turning point for the Druids. Their beliefs, deemed a threat to Roman authority, were brutally suppressed. Temples were destroyed, sacred groves were razed, and the Druids themselves were hunted down and slaughtered. Their ancient wisdom, once passed down freely from generation to generation, was driven underground, preserved only in fragmented texts and whispered legends.
While the Druids were masters of the land and its mysteries, the Phoenicians ruled the waves, establishing a vast maritime empire that stretched across the Mediterranean and beyond. These skilled seafarers and shrewd traders connected distant lands, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. Their innovations in shipbuilding, navigation, and commerce laid the groundwork for our modern globalized world.
The Phoenicians' greatest legacy, however, may be their development of maritime law, a legal framework designed to govern commerce and resolve disputes at sea. This system, based on the practicalities of seafaring and the need for clear rules in international trade, became the foundation for modern admiralty law, the very system that governs global commerce today. It's no coincidence that the law of water reigns supreme in our corporate-driven world, its roots tracing back to the Phoenicians' mastery of the seas.
But the Phoenicians' thirst for power extended beyond the realm of commerce. They delved into the mysteries of the occult, seeking to harness unseen forces to further their ambitions. Their pantheon of gods and goddesses, often associated with the forces of nature and the underworld, reflected their desire to control both the physical and spiritual realms. Among their most enduring innovations was the concept of banking, a system that allowed merchants to finance their ventures and manage their wealth across vast distances. While seemingly a practical innovation, the Phoenicians' banking system, with its reliance on credit and debt, planted the seeds for the complex and often exploitative financial systems that dominate our world today.
The influence of these ancient civilizations extends far beyond their immediate historical context. The echoes of Druidic law and Phoenician commerce can be seen in our legal systems, financial institutions, and even our language. The symbols and rituals of these ancient cultures, once potent expressions of spiritual belief, have been subtly woven into the fabric of our modern world, often disguised as secular traditions or mundane aspects of daily life.
The black robes worn by judges, for example, harken back to the dark cloaks of the Druids, a symbol of their authority in matters of law and justice. The concept of a court, where legal matters are adjudicated, derives from the Phoenician word for court, which referred to the enclosed courtyard of a temple or palace, where merchants would gather to conduct business and settle disputes.
Even the language of finance, with its arcane terminology and complex regulations, reflects the Phoenicians' influence. Words like bank, currency, and interest all have roots in ancient Phoenician and Babylonian commerce, highlighting the enduring legacy of these early economic systems. By understanding the ancient origins of our modern institutions, we begin to see through the illusion of separation between the past and the present. The occult matrix is not a modern invention. It is the culmination of centuries of manipulation and control, its roots reaching deep into the annals of human history. Imagine a heist so audacious, so cunning that it unfolds right before our eyes, yet remains hidden in plain sight. That's precisely what happened to nations worldwide, including the United States. This wasn't a violent overthrow, no armies stormed the capital. Instead, it was a silent coup, a gradual but deliberate transfer of power from the people to corporations.
This coup didn't happen overnight. It unfolded gradually, insidiously over decades, through legislation and financial maneuvering. It began in the aftermath of World War I, a time of global instability and economic turmoil. The United States, having emerged as a global superpower, found itself in a unique position, holding the lion's share of the world's gold reserves.
Enter the international bankers, seeking to establish a global financial system that would cement their power. They saw an opportunity in the war-torn world, a chance to reshape the geopolitical landscape to their advantage. Their weapon of choice? Debt.
By lending vast sums to nations struggling to rebuild, they could gain leverage, dictating economic policies and manipulating currencies. The United States, though seemingly immune to this financial maneuvering, fell prey to this scheme. The creation of the Federal Reserve System in 1913 marked a turning point, handing control of the nation's monetary system to a private corporation owned by these very same international bankers.
We cling to the ideal of democracy, the belief that we, the people, hold the power. We vote, we elect representatives, we have a say in how our government operates. But what if this is just an illusion, a carefully constructed facade designed to conceal the true power structure?
The corporate takeover of government has rendered democracy all but meaningless. Politicians, beholden to corporate donors for campaign financing, prioritize the interests of their financiers over the needs of their constituents. Lobbyists swarm the halls of Congress, their influence far exceeding that of ordinary citizens.
Laws are crafted not to serve the public good, but to benefit corporations, maximizing profits while eroding individual liberties. The media, complicit in this deception, perpetuates the illusion of choice, presenting a carefully curated version of events that reinforces the status quo. Dissenting voices are silenced, labelled as radical or fringe, their message drowned out by the corporate-controlled narrative.
We are bombarded with propaganda, conditioned to accept a system that prioritizes profit over people, greed over compassion. The very institutions designed to protect us, the courts, the regulatory agencies, the legislative bodies have been infiltrated and compromised. They serve not the people but the corporations, upholding a system of legalized corruption that benefits the few at the expense of the many.
The true legacy of the corporate takeover is debt slavery. Through cunning financial maneuvering, nations and their citizens have been shackled to a system of perpetual debt, their very existence mortgaged to the international bankers.
This debt, deliberately created and perpetually compounded through interest, ensures a steady flow of wealth from the bottom up, concentrating power in the hands of the few. The national debt, a staggering sum that grows larger each day, is used as a justification for austerity measures, cuts to social programs, and increased taxation.
We are told that we, the people, must tighten our belts, make sacrifices to pay off a debt that we did not create. Meanwhile, the corporations responsible for this crisis thrive, reaping record profits while enjoying tax breaks and government subsidies. The very system that enslaves us enriches them, perpetuating a vicious cycle of exploitation and inequality.
This debt is not just a financial burden, it is a moral one. It is a debt passed down from generation to generation, a millstone around the necks of our children and grandchildren. They will inherit a world stripped of resources, burdened by debt, and controlled by corporations that prioritize profit over the well-being of humanity. To fully grasp the insidious nature of this corporate takeover, we must confront an unsettling truth. We, the people, are collateral. Our labor, our productivity, our very lives have been commodified, pledged as security against the ever-growing mountain of debt.
Think about it. Why are we required to pay taxes? Why are our wages garnished? Why are our assets seized? It's because we are considered liable for the debts incurred by the corporate entity that is the government.
We are treated not as sovereign individuals, but as assets, human resources to be exploited for the benefit of the corporations that control the system. This concept is enshrined in law. The birth certificate, issued at birth, registers us not as human beings, but as corporate entities, subject to the rules and regulations of the corporate state.
Our social security numbers, driver's licenses, even our passports serve as identification within this system, tracking our movements and transactions. This realization is unsettling, even terrifying, but it is also empowering.
Once we understand the nature of the game, we can begin to change the rules. We can choose to withdraw our consent, to reclaim our sovereignty, to assert our inherent rights as human beings. This is the true path to liberation, to breaking free from the shackles of the occult matrix and creating a world that serves the interests of all, not just the privileged few.
Symbols hold immense power. They transcend language, conveying complex ideas and emotions in a single image. Throughout history, those in power have understood this, utilizing symbols to project authority, instill fear, and manipulate the masses.
The occult matrix is replete with such symbols, each carefully chosen to reinforce its control over our perception and understanding of the world. These symbols often operate on a subconscious level, bypassing our critical thinking and appealing directly to our primal instincts.
We are conditioned to respond to them in predictable ways, our reactions shaped by centuries of cultural programming. A crown, for example, instantly evokes thoughts of royalty, power, and authority, while a skull and crossbones triggers fear, warning us of danger and death.
The occult matrix co-opts these primal responses, embedding its symbols within our everyday lives to subtly reinforce its control. From the corporate logos that adorn our clothing to the religious icons that grace our places of worship, we are constantly bombarded with imagery designed to shape our thoughts and behaviors.
These symbols are not merely decorative, they are tools of psychological manipulation, silently shaping our perception of reality. To break free from the matrix, we must learn to decode these symbols, to see through their superficial meanings and uncover the deeper agendas they represent.
We must become conscious consumers of imagery, questioning the messages being conveyed and the motivations behind them. Only then can we begin to reclaim our minds from the grip of the occult matrix and forge our own understanding of the world around us.
Few symbols hold as much sway over our collective imagination as the magic wand. From childhood fairy tales to blockbuster movies, the image of a wand-wielding sorcerer conjuring spells and manipulating reality has been deeply ingrained in our psyche.
But what if this enduring symbol represents more than just a whimsical flight of fancy? What if it reflects a deeper truth about the nature of power and control in our world?
The entertainment industry, particularly Hollywood, has long been recognized as a powerful tool for shaping public opinion and perpetuating cultural norms. Through carefully crafted narratives, compelling characters, and stunning visuals, Hollywood weaves a tapestry of illusion that captivates our minds and influences our beliefs.
But beneath the glitz and glamour lies a darker agenda, one that uses the magic wand as a symbol of its own manipulative power.
Consider the role of the director in filmmaking. With a wave of the hand, a gesture akin to a magician's flourish, the director commands legions of actors, technicians, and artists, bending them to their will and shaping their creative output to conform to their vision.
The film itself becomes a form of magic, transporting audiences to other worlds, eliciting emotions, and shaping their perceptions of reality.
Hollywood's magic wand extends far beyond the silver screen. Through its influence on fashion, music, and popular culture, Hollywood dictates trends, shapes desires, and molds aspirations.
It is a master of illusion, crafting narratives that distract us from the true nature of our world and keep us enthralled in a cycle of consumerism and escapism.
Every element, from the elevated position of the judge to the somber black robes they wear, is carefully chosen to project an aura of solemnity, authority, and power.
The courtroom, a stage where justice is supposedly dispensed, is rife with symbolism.
These symbols, however, often obscure the true nature of the legal system, cloaking it in a veneer of legitimacy, while perpetuating a system that often serves the interests of the few at the expense of the many.
Consider the judge's black robe, a garment steeped in symbolism. Black, often associated with death, mourning, and the underworld, evokes a sense of gravity and finality, reminding those present of the serious consequences that can result from a guilty verdict.
This symbolic elevation reinforces the hierarchical nature of the legal system, one where power flows downward from the judge, who acts as an interpreter and enforcer of the law, often with little regard for the individual circumstances or moral implications of their rulings.
The robe itself, flowing and voluminous, elevates the judge, separating them from the ordinary citizens present and signifying their superior status within the legal hierarchy.
The robes become a symbol of this disconnect, cloaking the judge in an aura of impartiality while obscuring the fact that they are often bound by precedent, legal technicalities, and political pressures that can supersede justice and compassion.
The very term court itself is rooted in symbolism. Derived from the Latin cohors, meaning enclosed yard or retinue, it reflects the historical origins of courts as enclosed spaces within palaces or castles, where rulers would hold court surrounded by their loyal followers.
This inherent connection to power and authority persists in our modern courtrooms, where the judge, acting as a representative of the state, wields significant power over the lives of those who come before them.
We've journeyed deep into the labyrinth of the occult matrix, exposing its hidden mechanisms, decoding its symbols, and tracing its roots back through the annals of history. The picture that emerges is both disturbing and empowering.
Disturbing because it reveals the extent to which our lives have been manipulated, our perceptions molded, our very existence commodified. Empowering because it equips us with the knowledge to break free, to shatter the illusion and reclaim our inherent sovereignty.
The first step is awareness. By recognizing the pervasiveness of the occult matrix, by seeing through its deceptions and understanding its tactics, we begin to loosen its grip on our minds. We start to question the narratives we've been fed, to challenge the assumptions that underpin our beliefs.
This awakening can be unsettling, even painful, as it forces us to confront the limitations of our perceived reality. But with awareness comes the possibility of choice. We realize that we are not mere pawns in a rigged game, but active participants with the power to change the rules.
We can choose to withdraw our consent from the system, to refuse to play by its rules. This act of defiance, however small, sends ripples through the matrix, weakening its hold on us and empowering us to forge our own path.
This is not about rejecting society or retreating into isolation. It's about engaging with the world from a place of awareness, recognizing the manipulations and choosing to act in alignment with our own values and aspirations.
It's about reclaiming our power, not as individuals seeking domination, but as sovereign beings working together to create a just and equitable world. The key to reclaiming our sovereignty lies in remembering who we truly are. We are not corporate entities, not data points, not cogs in a machine. We are living, breathing human beings, endowed with inherent rights and freedoms that no system, however powerful, can truly extinguish.
The occult matrix thrives on our forgetting, on keeping us disconnected from our true nature, our innate power. It bombards us with distractions, feeds us with fear, and manipulates us into believing that we are powerless to change our circumstances.
But deep within each of us lies a spark of divinity, an unquenchable thirst for freedom, a yearning for authenticity. This inner knowing, this connection to our true selves, is the source of our power.
By nurturing this connection, by cultivating self-awareness and embracing our unique gifts, we weaken the matrix's hold on us and step into our full potential.
This process of self-discovery is not a passive one. It requires courage, commitment, and a willingness to confront our own shadows, the limiting beliefs and fears that keep us trapped in cycles of self-sabotage.
It demands that we question everything, challenge the status quo, and stand up for what we believe in, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular.
The journey to sovereignty is not for the faint of heart. It is a path of continuous growth, learning, and liberation. But it is a journey worth taking, for it leads us back to ourselves, to our true nature as free and sovereign beings.
We stand at a crossroads. The truth about the occult matrix, the invisible web of control that has entangled humanity for millennia, is being revealed. The veil is lifting, the curtain is being pulled back, and the mechanisms of this elaborate system of manipulation are exposed for all to see.
Now we must choose. Do we remain ensnared in this web of deception, content to play our assigned roles as unwitting participants in a rigged game? Or do we rise up, armed with knowledge and empowered by truth, to break free from these shackles and reclaim our birthright of freedom?
The choice, as it always has, rests in our hands. This is not a battle fought on distant battlefields or within the halls of power. It is a battle for the hearts and minds of humanity, a battle waged in the quiet recesses of our own consciousness.
It is a battle against fear, against apathy, against the insidious whispers of self-doubt that keep us tethered to a system that no longer serves our highest good.
The forces of the occult matrix are formidable, their roots deeply embedded in the fabric of our world. But they are not invincible. Their power relies on our ignorance, our complacency, our willingness to remain asleep to the truth of our own sovereignty.
By waking up, by reclaiming our power, we shift the balance, tipping the scales in favor of freedom and awakening.
The journey ahead will not be easy. Breaking free from the matrix requires courage, commitment, and an unyielding belief in our own inherent power. It demands that we question everything, challenge the status quo, and stand firm in our convictions, even when confronted with resistance or ridicule.
But the rewards are immeasurable. By stepping outside the confines of the matrix, we reclaim our minds, our hearts, and our lives.
This awakening is not just an individual pursuit, it is a collective imperative. As more and more of us awaken to the truth of our own sovereignty, we create a ripple effect, a wave of consciousness that has the power to transform our world.
We become beacons of light, illuminating the path for others to follow, inspiring them to break free from the shadows and step into their own greatness.
The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Embrace the truth, awaken the giant within, and together let us create a world where humanity is no longer enslaved, but empowered, enlightened, and truly free.